Well, hello, and thanks for joining me today for Porch Talk. I hope you're having a wonderful day and got me a good old cup of coffee. And I don't know how it is where you are, but it is cold here. And we've had a little cold front come through, and this evening, sitting here making this video outside, we actually have freezing drizzle, and we're under a winter weather advisory. So it seems funny, it's just, time goes by so quick, but it seems like just a few days ago, I was on the back porch filming these porch talks each week and having a good old glass of iced tea, and now I've had to go to a little bit of coffee. But I actually drink coffee year round, doesn't bother me any. I wanted to say something to our new subscribers. We've had some, we keep getting new subscribers all the time, and we certainly appreciate it. As of the making of this video, I think it was like 1,620 subscribers. I know we're just little small potatoes here, but it does bless me here when I see people are subscribing. We're not in this for the money or nothing like that. We're just in it to share with like-minded folks and encourage folks that are into homesteading, ranching, farming, whatever kind of same caliber as we are. And then there's a lot of you that don't have a farm or ranch. Maybe you'd like to be, but you enjoy watching the videos, and it just thrills me each week to get new subscribers, and it also helps promote our channel the more subscribers we have. But I am planning on having another giveaway once we reach 2,000 subscribers. I had one at 1,000 subscribers. So I'm looking forward to that. And anyway, I just want to say a big thank you. And if you're not a subscriber, if you'd hit that little subscribe button, why, we'd love to have you. And then once you do that, a little bell will come up. And if you click that bell where it says all, then everything that we do, every time we put up a video throughout, that'll be upleaked. If you can select certain things, if there's certain ones that you want to be alerted to, I believe. But anyway, I hope you're enjoying the videos. I've been getting some wonderful comments, and some of you I feel like I've gotten to meet lately, just that we're friends now, and I certainly enjoy that and appreciate it. It's been fun, and looking forward to a big new year in 2020. And anyway, today's subject I wanted to talk about is, are we destroying the planet? As we know it, are we destroying the planet? And when I say we, it may not be the best title to put on this, but the best I could think of today was, are we destroying the planet? And what I mean by we is us, the individuals that are out here. Maybe you're homesteading, you're a rancher, farmer, you're just somebody trying to get by in this world and make things go the best you can. Are we destroying the environment? And the answer to that, for the most part, is absolutely not. We're not, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. But I wanted to go into something. You know, I talk a lot about people needing to be prepared, and I certainly think that you need to be prepared. Some think I'm weird for this, but I'm not the only one. There are thousands of people that are preparing and think that something is about to happen, and it scares me. This deal with the, if I say scares me, I should say concerns me. Not a whole lot scares me anymore. I think as you get older, you learn that a lot of things just come and go, but it does concern me when you have some of the immoral things that are going on, and the weather events, and a lot of the catastrophes that's been going on. And some say they are weather related due to pollution. Some say it's a natural thing. But I don't really care what you call it. I believe in being prepared. Then let's deal with our president. The House is working to impeach the president. They are fixing to have a vote to this week to do it for sure. And we know they don't have a chance, because when it gets over into the Senate, there's no chance it's going to get through there. There are going to be some tricky maneuvers, and they're going to try to do some things, but I don't think it has any chance. But it concerns me very greatly that you have 4 people basically that have railroaded, spearheaded, getting rid of a president that the middle America, the average people, voted for. Average people, meaning myself, have voted into office, and almost half of the country voted for him, and thanks to the Electoral College, he got in there. But if not, it would be the big states like California and New York and some of the East Coast and West Coast towns that would decide who our president is, and that would not be fair or right at all. So our founding fathers figured out a system. But you had 4 people, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, and Maxine Waters, I believe is her name, from all 3 from California, that were the main conspirators to get rid of the president. And then you have a Jerry Nadler from New York. The middle part of the country was not represented whatsoever in the situation, and they voted to impeach the President of the United States, and it is very concerning. And I don't see him getting, like I say, impeached, but if he did, it could lead to great civil unrest. And I don't think people would sit idly by now and allow that to happen unjustly. Now, if he had done something just, but if what they're accusing him of, if he was guilty of what they accused him of, if that's wrong for the president to do, and I think there's nothing wrong with a president negotiating with other countries. If we're going to give them money, I think the president, as the chief executive of the country, can do things. But if he did wrong, then they're going to have to go back and go after Obama, because he did the same things. They're going to have to get after Biden because he did the same thing, and he's even on world news bragging about it. And then the Bushes and others that have done, Clinton. I mean, the list just goes on and on as far as I remember. Probably even Reagan, that they're going to have to go back and look into all these situations. But they had nothing, and I realize not. But it does concern me as a homesteader, and as a, well, I would like to call myself a prepper, but sometimes that has weird baggage with it if you're called a prepper. But I do believe in being prepared spiritually, being prepared financially, and being prepared just physically, and as far as goods and things, having a little food supply, having a little cash on hand, having some things, doing the best you can with what you got, preparing for the worst, but praying for the best. And but there seems to be an attack now in getting back. Are we destroying the planet, or destroying the environment? Are we hurting it? When us as individuals here, I can't speak for big, huge corporations and people like that, but I'm talking about farmers. And are we destroying it? And the answer is no, because most homesteaders that I know of use very little chemicals, very little man-made fertilizer. They compost. They do everything they can with what they have on their place to regenerate, rejuvenate, to grow new things to eat, like vegetables and stuff. And the leftover stuff they turn back into compost, or they feed it to, I feed our stuff to our dogs and to our chickens and ducks and turkeys. And in turn, they turn it back over into other things. Our cows eat grain. This time of the year, I feed our cows, supplement them a little bit with grain. Our chickens go out and scratch up those cow pies around here for a pretty good area from our home here. They scratch those up and spread them out, which helps fertilize the ground. It also, the chicken's getting vitamins and nutrients from that, and they're laying eggs, and I'm eating the eggs, and I'm giving away a lot of eggs to people. So the process just continues on. So I feel we are helping the environment and not hurting the environment with what we do. And most people that I know in rural America are doing the same thing. I know big ranchers, and I'm going to give you an example, folks that had big chicken operations. Now right here in our area there's a lot of chicken houses are going up, and the land is cheaper over here in Oklahoma than it is. They were building a lot over in Arkansas, and they've gotten stricter on them. And up in northwest Arkansas there's been a boom, actually even down further on, as soon as you cross the line here into Arkansas, there is a major boom of people living. So prices of land have gone up. So the land is still cheaper here, even though we're expanding here where we are. A lot of people's moving here. But in our county, they put a hold for a little while on new chicken plants. So let me explain. When I'm talking about chicken plants, I'm talking about chicken houses where they'd grow broiler chickens or have laying chickens, stuff like that. I know a lot of people that supplement their income, make a good income off of doing that. I don't like to eat chicken that has been commercially raised that way, but I have to. It's just the way it is. You go to KFC, you're getting a commercially raised chicken, and I very seldom eat it. KFC. I tell you what I do like is Popeye's chicken. If you've ever ate it, it is some of the best fried chicken, I think, as far as fast food goes. But I can't have it all that often. But when I do, I think I'm eating a commercially raised chicken. I've been in these commercial plants where they process them, and it leaves a lot to be desired. I'd rather raise my own and eat it that way. But nonetheless, getting back to these plants, the people that I knew that ever had commercial growing houses they do the best they can to try to protect the environment. They take the chicken litter, which is sawdust that's been put on the ground, and the chicken manure. When the baby chicks come in, they put them on fresh litter, they call it. And that's usually is sawdust. Sometimes they'll even use rice hulls, but they'll put this down a layer. They put the little chicks on there, and as they grow, they use the bathroom, and it falls on the chips, and they use that. The farmers do later. They will go in. Used to, some friends of ours had chicken houses, and I'm not sure how they do it now, but they used to, after 2 or 3 bunches of chickens, so many bunches, they would take and clear back down to the concrete all of this wood chips and stuff and manure, and it would be composting, and they had a spreader they put it in, and they would spread it out over the land. And some folks I know had some land that wasn't worth nothing they had purchased, and they spread that on the land. It was real hilly, rocky, just very bad land, wasn't fit for nothing, and wouldn't even hardly carry a goat or a deer. So they went in and planted or put this stuff on there and sowed like Bermuda grass. And that Bermuda grass took hold, and now they're able to even cut hay off of it. It has grown so well, but that chicken litter will go off and get caught in rocks and things like that, and then it starts building up soil, and over time they've turned land that was worthless into good high quality land, and they've not had to use man-made fertilizer. They just use a natural composting fertilizer. So there's people out there doing things in big scale that is actually helping the environment. I'll tell you who's hurting the environment is these yuppies, I call them, these folks that are so against everything we do, and they think what they're doing is so right, and they go out and they heavily fertilize their yards with man-made fertilizers, nitrogens and whatever, and then that runs off and goes into our streams. That's what's hurting the environment. Here in our lake that we have here, Lake Tenkiller in the Illinois River, there's been a big concern because of a lot of algae that is coming on. When we didn't have it, and they believe because of the growth up in northwest Arkansas that all these fancy yards and golf courses and stuff, the fertilizer's running off and running into our rivers here and lakes, and so it's causing a lot of pollution. And I believe that's where the biggest majority of it is. People that have hog farms, I hear them oh, hog farms are just horrible for the environment. That is baloney. I realize that there may be one occasionally that's going to maybe have a overfill of hog honey. We call it hog honey here, hog manure. But it may have something strange happen. But it very seldom does it kill any animals. Very seldom does it. Actually, as we get rains, it flushes out and goes. But they'll take that and fertilize fields, farm fields and stuff, and make stuff grow, and they don't have to put any man-made fertilizer on it. It's a very good practice, but people that don't know come here from Sikkim will stand out and protest all this stuff. And if we didn't have these big farms, how would we feed the masses? There's no way in conventional farming today that you can feed the world. Now, as far as feeding ourselves, I can grow enough food here to feed myself and probably a few more people. And we do. We give away a lot of food. I enjoyed sitting down this week when we'd have meals. I got a jar of pickles out and opened them up and been eating on them. I just finished them off this weekend, and I got to go out to the reserve shed there and get me another jar. But I like eating things that we've grown. We've been eating on black-eyed peas. My wife cooked up a pot the other that we grew right here on the homestead, and I like growing stuff here. I like us canning it, and I like us eating it because I know where it came from. And I could probably feed other people. Sadly, today a lot of folks wouldn't know what to do with the stuff if you gave them fresh green beans that wasn't in a can. You just gave them like frozen green beans or frozen black-eyed peas, or even if you gave them some in a jar, a lot of folks would have no idea what in the world they are. But the thing is, we eat them and we don't use any chemicals. If I use any kind of fertilizer, very rarely do I use any store-bought fertilizer. I use natural things, you know, maybe rabbit manure, chicken manure, or whatever, and cow manure, and those things, and it really makes stuff grow, and I feel like I'm not harming the environment at all, and I'm able to feed myself. But there's folks that live in areas, and some of you have commented on here that you live in maybe a trailer park or somewhere, and you can't grow a big garden, but you grow what you can. Maybe it's a few tomato plants, and I know folks that live in apartments and they don't have room to grow a garden. I've known some that's gotten with the apartment managers and grown a little garden spot. Asked, you know, if they could till up a little ground and grow them a little garden, and they have, and they've done very well at it. But anyway, I've known some and they'll have a bucket in the summertime with setting on their what little porch they have and growing a tomato. And sometimes I'm tempted, you know, when I'm doing work at an apartment complex, you know, see them big pretty ripe tomatoes, just to grab one. But I figure they'll probably get you for that. But anyhow, people are doing what they can, and I don't think we're hurting our environment. You may have heard about this fake meat thing that's coming on. If there's anything going to hurt the environment more than anything, is fake meat. They're not even concerned about putting organic type grasses, beans, whatever they put in these things to make these patties. All kinds of cancer, all kinds of chemicals, and one chemical I have heard is believed to be a cancer causing. And then they're making this fake meat and claiming it's going to help the environment. But in the process, they're going to have GMO soybeans, GMO whatever, which if you're not familiar with GMO, it means a genetically modified organism, which could be a corn or soybeans. They take certain things out of them. They make them up in a way that they can spray Roundup, for instance. Roundup now, you know, they're advertising it's cancer causing. Whether it is or not, I don't know, and all that. But you take over here, they can spray a field with Roundup, completely kill everything. We used to have a lot of quail here in our area, and it's because around the edges of the fields and stuff, there would be a lot of weeds and things grow, and even out in the fields there would be a few patches of weeds where they couldn't plow and get cultivate and stuff. So the quail would eat those seeds. Also, they'd eat bugs and things that would come in and be attracted into like a soybean field. And now around here where we are, the quail are gone. And I think it's that they don't have anything to eat on. They round up everything. They spray pesticides on the soybeans and corn so bad that there's no bugs, nothing for the little quail to eat on. All around the edges of the fields are clean, bare. They've just done away with so much that it has hurt our quail population. So to grow these meatless burgers, to raise them that they've been talking about, you would have to grow a lot of GMO substances, and which would mean spraying chemical, which is Roundup or some other alternative that's just as bad as Roundup, a glyphosate type substance. And I don't want my food sprayed with that. But there's an attack on cattle. You know, there's some of these folks running for political office that want to do away with cattle. Can you imagine there ever being a time when there would be no going down and buying steak or fresh hamburger meat? It would all be fake stuff. Some of them have said that one way they would do it is just tax really big. There'd be a penalty on buying beef, just like you have a penalty on buying cigarettes. Now, cigarettes, we know, have been known to cause lung cancer. Beef actually has a lot of vitamins and good nutrition. It's a organic type. If you get grass-fed beef, I mean, you can't get much more healthier and much more leaner than that. It's very good for you. And beef will take grass and turn it into something that otherwise that grass would just be sitting out in the field doing no good for anybody. But a cow can go out, if you don't overgraze or do something stupid, why, cows will eat the grass, it'll grow back again, it rejuvenates itself, and they're just, the grass is like little solar antennas out there. They're catching the solar rays, they're growing. The rain that we get, it uses that, it helps keep the rain from running off, and grass grows up, the cows eat it down, turn into beef. I mean, it's just a perfect cycle. And I've heard them saying the methane gas now. You know, it won't be long that they'll be wanting to hook a bottle onto humans to get rid of the methane gas. But there's a natural occurrence. And I'm not a scientist, but I have read and I have heard about this. That when cattle are grazing, they're a ruminant animal, a herbivore. They eat grass. They have a digestive system that breaks it down, and when the stuff exits out of them and it lands back on grassy soil, grassy land, and you know what we do is we spread it. We'll take something and spread all of our fields at least once a year, and it spreads the cow pies down. That puts fertilizer back in, but there is a natural occurrence. I can't tell you the name of it, but you can study this if you don't believe me. But there is a natural occurrence that takes place that actually uses more methane than one cow puts off. This process that goes through will actually use a whole lot more methane gas in the process of breaking down. It's a natural thing that God put on planet Earth. Before man, here in the United States, before we settled the land here and started major herds of cattle, there were major herds of bison, buffalo we call them here in Oklahoma. Millions of buffalo ranged in North America. These are facts, not mine. They killed millions and millions of buffaloes during the time of building the railroads and stuff like that, and just almost wiped them off. And now the herds that we have are kept in captivity primarily, but nonetheless, they were the same thing as a cow. They put off methane gas. They have a digestive system very similar to cows, and it's been going on all this time. The dinosaurs, a lot of the dinosaurs were considered herbivores, or however you say that, but they ate plants, and herbivores, however you want to say that. I'm not good at all these big fancy terms, but I'm just telling you it's been going on. God created this system naturally, and it naturally heals itself. The ozone heals when there's thundering, and when the lightning happens. The ozone actually heals itself. And we could be damaging maybe these rockets that's going off in the atmosphere and putting stuff up in there where it can't heal. Could be causing some problems, but nonetheless, more than likely, I think we're actually doing our planet good than we ever did hurt. There are some things we could do better, some things we could improve on. And the stuff that's coming out now, new modern technologies and ideas that they're doing, is just unbelievable. But as far as us, I feel like that there is an attack on middle America. That's why they're attacking our president, because the middle America, the average old Joe that is too stupid to get in out of the rain. That's what they think about us. They think we're too stupid because we've not been to the big Ivy League colleges, and we're not, don't have doctor between our name or in front of our names, that we don't know anything. The thing is, the average old Joe has a lot of common sense, and the average old Joe can see in and read between the lines and has a lot of ability to see things that the Ivy League folks can't see, and they can tell what's going on, and they can tell that this hearings they have that they were just a joke, they weren't real hearings, and they can see what's happening and see who it is that's leading the pack of wolves that's out to get the president. Whether you agree with him totally or not, he's not been done right in this, for sure enough. But anyway, there's been a lot of things good, I feel like, for us. Last year, our taxes were lower. I'm just going to throw this in here, a little bit of politics here, how I feel about it. But we made more money, and we paid less taxes last year thanks to his tax provision that he has. We don't owe on our home, so we don't have a tax. We don't have interest to write off. We don't. Our son's grown now. We don't have that. But the way that they done it and gave you more of an exemption, it actually helped us last year, and I'm thankful for that. This new NAFTA plan they have, the USMCA, they're fixing to get that passed, and that looks good. I think we need to trade with Mexico, and we need to trade with Canada, but it ought to be fair and open between the three countries. If we're going to trade with anybody, we need to be trading with Canada and Mexico. I think it'd be dumb not to trade with those folks. And oil and everything, we ought to be going across the board with those two countries. And I think this does it. China, all that's wonderful. But right here in our own hemisphere, I think we need to be trading with our local countries here. And then on down in South America, Brazil, Argentina, all that area we need to be trading with. But I think he's doing some things that is common sense. And I'm just going to tell you something that I like. He's been saying he's going to put Merry Christmas back into Christmas. Hey, I'm going to tell you what. I got sick of hearing Happy Holidays. Happy Holidays. Folks afraid to say Merry Christmas. And I thought here lately, everywhere I go, people are saying Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. This is the Christmas season. I'm celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. I don't care who it chaps. I'm going to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. I don't celebrate Santa Claus and all that stuff. We have a Christmas tree, and we may have some Santa Clauses and stuff, but that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, our soon-coming King. That's who I'm celebrating, and I ain't afraid to say it. And I'm glad to see someone like Trump finally telling folks it's okay if you say Merry Christmas. And, if I went to somebody's home, and this happens sometimes, they won't have any Christmas stuff up. And it may just cross my mind, hey, they don't look like they celebrate Christmas. I may not say anything, like Merry Christmas. I'll just say, y'all have a good day. But oftentimes when I'm leaving, they'll say, have a Merry Christmas. I was like, well, from the looks of this, see, I don't even celebrate Christmas at all. And I will return it, and I'll say, you have a Merry Christmas too. And but anyway, there's some good things happening. And but they're concerning things. But as far as us destroying the environment, us personally, us homesteaders, us average people, you know, I don't believe in throwing my trash out, just throwing it out anywhere. I don't believe in, you know, if I'm using some kind of chemical, I believe you should be very careful with it. I try not to spill gas, you know, like when I'm filling up something. One thing, the gas is so expensive, and then I call them Obama cans, these gas cans that they have these new spigots on them. And they're supposed to keep you from spilling gas, but you actually spill more gas with them now with these new cans than you did the old ones. And I was like, that just go. And that's what part of Obama's deal with the EPA and stuff to help out. And they actually do worse. These gas spigots that's on these cans. I've had them even just completely break off or pop off when you pour it, and you get gas all over the place. And I was like, my old cans, I never did have that problem. And anyway, anytime the government gets involved, they tend to mess things up. But anyway, hey, I appreciate you watching today. I've rambled on, and if you got a comment, why, place it in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you. And I say God bless you, and we'll see you next week here on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock for Porch Talk. And be sure to join in on Thursday nights for Cattle Talk at 7 o'clock, and then all kinds of videos in between. We're gone.